All right, guys, good evening. I am going to sit here and talk to y'all while I fold up this laundry. And I'm just going to come straight out and say it. What I want to talk about, and what I want to talk about is people that are claiming to be witches, yet they're just gang stalkers or either a stalker that has tried to take on the identity of a witch. And I want to talk about this, okay? Seriously, because again, um I want people to be careful because there are some people on here that are delusional enough to think that people are not going to see their behavior on this website. And you can't force somebody to come to you to get spiritual work done, but you also cannot force things like spirit. Spirit moves the way that it does for a reason. It doesn't matter if somebody thinks that they are hexing or vexing somebody. Um, it just is what it is. Okay. So I did a poll on my community wall. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I don't want to see you guys get scammed. Um, I don't want to see you guys get hurt or harmed or your family get hurt or harmed because as witches, we receive a lot from you guys. Some of you guys will mail us your personal items or artifacts. We have your addresses and things of that nature. And some of you guys will mail even more personal things that I'm not going to speak of on here. Okay. So it's very, very important for you guys to be careful out here. I have had so many people come to me in the past several months stating that they went to somebody and the person just took their money and either they never heard from them or it never worked. Um, and and I hate to see y'all waste y'all money. Okay. I really do. Even though I don't really believe that this conversation is necessary. Um, like I said, everybody knows about the jokes on this platform that have been stalking me for years. Okay, everybody knows about that. No, it is not my job as a witch to stop these people from throwing their lives away. I am not responsible for people that don't love themselves enough to get their life together. I am not responsible. Okay. And most of the time, I don't even think about it, most of the time. But I've noticed that for some reason, these people have psyched themselves out into thinking. For some reason, they believe that my audience watches them. Okay. So that's why they're constantly following me around, trying to debunk everything that I say. For example, the conversation that I had about cordyceps. When we come on here, especially me, I come on here and I talk about thought provoking topics. That's what it's all about. It's about provoking a thought process, it's about presenting an idea. And I think I'm going to take that live down. I'm not sure because the fake fraud stalkers, I believe that they're so literal. They don't know how to have vision. They only think like as far as like a one track thing. They can't expand their minds at all. So when I had that conversation, they wanted to make it seem like I was trying to give away false medical information. I am not a doctor. I guess you consider me to be a two-headed doctor or whatever, or something like that, but I'm not a trained medical professional. So, um, the question was, can a person actually be successful at doing a spell or a ritual for you while being obsessed with Jamila? That was the question that I asked on the wall. And since these people are constantly like, and that was this conversation has nothing to do with any men on this platform. This conversation has to do with fake witches running around here trying to pretend that they're in competition with me. Okay. There is no way that somebody can make a spell or a ritual work for you if they are constantly focused on Jamila, to the point where they are the first person. Like, for example, I enjoy watching a lot of content creators. There are times when I don't have time to look at YouTube. I don't have time, nor am I subscribed to a person that I am currently stalking. I don't subscribe to people like that. If I don't like you, I just don't like you, and I do as much as possible to get rid of you out of my mind and to get you up out of my space. Okay. Here's the reason why a person that is obsessed, you got to understand an obsessed person. Okay. An obsessed person is going to do what? They're going to constantly have a thought process about that person. If you can't turn that thought process off, and you're constantly stalking someone for 7, 8 years, you do not have the capability to make a spell or a ritual work. You do not. You don't even have the capability to sit down and actually pay bills every month. You don't. There is no way that you can convince me that you are in that position. Because when you are doing spiritual work, guys, you have to actually focus on what you're doing. You have to stay focused. There are a lot of times when, probably in about 90% of the spell workings that I do for my clients, I have to have a clear head. I know how to clear my mind in under 2 minutes. There's no way you can tell me that one half of yourself is this crazy psychotic person that can't like you just can't do it. You're super duper hyper focused on a, so you're basically a stand. You can't convince me that even if you had a job, you could actually be productive at work. A person that is an actual stalker is not productive. They can't produce. Stalkers are very unproductive. In fact, stalkers, like true stalkers that stalk for years and years and years, true stalkers, true stalkers, they create a lot of loss. They don't produce nothing for people. They take away, I mean, think about it. Think about how many of you guys have actually been stalked by a person on the job, and everybody has to stop what they're doing to see what the hell is wrong with this stalker, who probably needs to go and get on some Paxil or Zoloft or something. Okay. Now, the crazy part about it is that I see a lot of mentally ill stalkers on this website that claim that they know so much about medical information, yet they don't know how to actually go and get them some medication from a doctor that will make them better. You can't tell me I'm wrong when you just posted my photograph, and or either you're posting people's photographs every 5 minutes on your community wall. You cannot convince me of that. And part of the reason why a lot of people don't get help is because they're being enabled. They have allowed the trolls to convince them that they have their foot on somebody's neck. And I think that is so sad. I think it's so sad. We spoke about this the other day when I was talking to y'all about the character on here. This lady named Yolanda that has been stalking me for 11 years. Please understand that that person has a mental problem. Okay? A person with a mental problem cannot make a spell work for you. Okay? Now, there are some witches that have said, "Hey, I have anxiety that I take medication for." I'm not talking about those witches. I've actually watched witches that are suffering from depression, and I think that it takes a big person to be able to admit when they have a problem. Some of those witches don't do work for other people, though. They're not advertising a business, but some of them are, and some of them can. If you are literally stalking a person every single day, and if you see them in chat rooms of gang stalking people that are like rest havens for people that are stalking, they can't do a spell for you. They can't. Okay. And that's why I always say I'm not in competition. I'm not. Okay. Another thing is that for me, I have actual testimonials and clients that I've worked with where when you go to my website, you will see their testimonials. I'm not stuck to some people online, and I definitely do not ever use my personal life to prove nothing. In fact, it's quite dangerous to come on here and tell your personal stuff. Okay. It's very dangerous. So there are some people that don't have an identity, or either they don't like who they are, and they have basically tried to latch on to being a witch and know that and some of them are so psyched out that they think that stalking someone gives them power. It doesn't. It actually makes you look crazy. It actually just makes them look crazy. So, especially if it's a complete stranger, you just look like the Bjork stalker. I remember several years ago when I first ran across a couple of the stalkers. They even went as far as to clone my number and tried to stalk others, which got me into some arguments with some people that I was not stalking. They cloned my number. This is why I do not give out my number to youtube.com. You have my business number, but that's it. And I'm wondering if they're trying to clone my business number. I'm wondering if they're trying to do that. So let's talk about spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare is not coming online arguing with a complete stranger every single day. That's not what spiritual warfare is. I go into spiritual warfare every other day for my clients. In fact, I had to work with some dark energy, made my eyes just like sometimes my eyes will look normal, but sometimes they'll just get real dark. Like my dark circles will become very pronounced. And that's because I'm dealing with that dark energy. And it'll clear up after a couple of days. That what they describe as spiritual warfare is a made up fake illegitimate beef that they have for attention. In fact, it has given witches on YouTube quite a bad name. Okay? It's given witches on YouTube quite a bad name because it just looks stupid. It does. This whole thing about the witch wars and all that stuff, it's nothing but a distraction. You're not a real witch. You don't actually have any real power. You don't. You're not keeping your foot on nobody's neck. You're just an annoying person. You're just somebody there to annoy somebody. Okay. So, be careful with that. Make sure that you actually check that person out. Make sure that they are not a complete fraud. That's why the people that are stalking, I'm very careful about not calling their name. You see why somebody came in here and they immediately got blocked because they try to name drop their names in my chat because they honestly believe that anybody is stupid enough to come over to their channels. Okay. But I don't think that they are mentally sound enough or, even aware enough to even come over here. How many of y'all had discernment about that last conversation that we had about cordyceps? Now they literally don't have the ability to think outside of the boxes that they are in. They literally don't have the ability to do that. If it doesn't come directly from the medical community, it's not real to them, which I mean, I know that I think, what did I say? I said this about 4 or 5 years ago that stress and negativity causes cancer. And then doctors began saying it. But then it became real after that. Oh, I can agree with that now because a doctor said it. Well, actually, I wasn't even the first spiritualist to say that. When I come on here and discuss topics like this, they have an agenda, a specific agenda. They have a specific agenda to say, oh, you're trying to get attention from this person. No, I'm trying to speak what's real to protect my business. I'm trying to speak what's real to protect you guys because I have had a lot of people come to me and say, I went to so and so person, they screwed me over, and then instead of them making good on it, they told me that they were going to use my personal information to attack me. Do not involve yourself with a witch, someone claiming to be a witch that is hanging around with people that are doxing people, dropping their documents, and swatting people. That would be considered a fraud. That would be considered somebody that you cannot trust. Okay. So that's why I'm here talking about this. Okay. I'm here talking about this because of that reason. Because they run around here, and then also I have it on good authority to know that some of them have been trying to plagiarize me literally, trying to use my name. There used to be a point in time where this one person would say that me and her were friends. When I made it clear, very, very, and so very clear that I wanted nothing to do with this person and that me and her were not friends, which was several years ago, she's been stalking me ever since. I have no reason whatsoever. Right, exactly. I have no reason whatsoever to go into anybody's chat room that is stalking someone live to attack that person. Nobody is actually going to believe you. And see, what are you going to do? Are you going to get mad at our clients? Even if our clients knew about that and they saw you, they would be absolutely disgusted. Do you think as a witch, as a woman, as a mother that I would be okay with people stalking and harassing a mother and her children? Or a woman, period. And there's a lot of women that don't have children. Do you think that I would ever be okay with that? You know what I'm saying? And it's just the truth. Now, I don't get clients that come to me from that group of people. I don't get that. And I don't want that. Okay. I mean, if you just so happen to be watching and you're just kind of like, what is this? Okay, whatever. That's different, you know. But I mean, I think that this conversation needed to be had because there are some people that like to use our spiritual beliefs as a hustle. I am not hustling. I do this full time every single day. This is what I do. Okay. Yes. Please pray for the success of the targeted justice lawsuit. The success of this lawsuit will pave the way to end these crimes. Thank you for sending your positive energies that way. Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It's totally ridiculous. It really is. And, you know, what you are dealing with, what you can always count on is that these are complete criminals. They're non-productive people. They are a burden to society and they do it purposely. Also, another thing, there would be no way that you would, I mean, you know, men are kind of always kind of iffy about the craft, but I don't need for men to believe in craft, in my craft, for it to work either on them or for them. Okay. So, but I'm not just gonna be blatantly hanging around with people that are, you know, talking about Hecate, disrespecting deities, and just acting very ignorant. You're not gonna see me do that. You're not, I don't even wanna do that. Okay. There's some people that just have mental problems. I'm upset, I'm angry at you, and I'm gonna stalk you while claiming that I'm a witch when in reality you're not a witch. You're not. Stop saying that you are. Stop saying that you're running a business when you literally you can't you can't convince me that you can put together a normal thought process in your head if you are stalking someone else, a woman. Now I can understand you stalking your ex sometimes. I mean literally. I'm not even talking about that. If that's pretty understandable. Now, if you're a malignant stalker, but this is a complete stranger, I do not know this person. What is this person's problem? What is the issue? What is the deal? Why do you continuously? How does that happen? Okay, and for somebody to just find somebody online, make up an entire delusional fantasy around them. What is going on? And when they can't stop. You know, when you think, oh, a couple of weeks went by, maybe they'll stop, but they can't stop. That is a problem. Okay. That is a problem. Now, you see the fantasies that they make up in their mind, but I'm talking to females right now. I'm not talking about because I've got two obsessed females on here. Both of them try to pretend like they are some kind of spirit. Actually, there's three of them. Okay. They try to pretend like they are some spiritual source of information, but you got a problem. You need to go get yourself together. You need to go get your head together before you can ever claim that you are some kind of successful spiritualist. Okay. And it's been going on for years. And you know, I believe I believe that their only clients are probably trolls. Listen, I have real clients that have real lives, jobs, houses, cars. They have real partners, real mates, real marriages, real involvement, whether or not it's they're married or they are in a third party situation. The point is that it's very real. It's not fake. It's not done for, ooh, look at me, look at me. No, that's not why it's being done. It is very unhealthy. And they expect to be able to do that, use your image, use your name, and you not say anything to them. This is the expectation versus reality. And I feel that it's irresponsible. This is the reason why I stay away from that, because it actually is very counterproductive. It's counterproductive to what anybody that is looking for some kind of spiritual work is trying to do. In fact, I have actually helped people with unhealthy obsessions. That's a cycle that needs to be broken. Why can't you break that cycle within yourself for yourself? You should be able to do that. What's the problem? You're supposed to be a powerful person, but yet every time Jamila comes on YouTube, I see you in chat rooms and you just chopping it up, and what are you trying to pretend like you know me? What if we met? This doesn't make any sense to me. And I have the right to protect my reputation and to protect my company. I have that right. Okay. So, that's a person that can't do it. They can't do it. And, of course, what I've noticed, the psychosis of it all, is that they pretend as though you're just as obsessed with them. And I think if somebody's stalking you, you're not obsessed with that person, but you are going to be tempted to watch that person to kind of see what they're up to see if they've stopped. Trust me, I have done. I did spell work 6 years ago. I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to waste my resources on it. I'm not. It's not worth it to me. But I do think it's important for the public to know the difference. And people get scammed like that a lot. I've seen people get scammed. Okay, I have, and it just don't get scammed. Yeah, it's definitely a psychosis, because I'll go and I won't look for a couple of days and I'll be like, what the? And my photograph will be plastered everywhere, and I'm thinking, what are these people thinking? They're not thinking. They're definitely not thinking for themselves. And one of the biggest things that they would do is they would SWAT my house and things of that nature. It's totally ridiculous. I do factually have pending cases against these people while they sit there in this obsessive illusion, thinking that they have done nothing wrong when they have. I mean, when you can't even tell when you've done something wrong, how you gonna, your mind is not built for the craft. You can't even decipher a good spirit from a bad spirit. And some people that want to get next to you, they will pretend that they are you just so that, and I've been through that before too. And, it's very disappointing, but so far, 99.95% of my clients have been amazing. They have been. And, whenever I have a small percentage, very small percentage, because I can see upwards to, probably, I would say, including when I do a group ritual, somewhere between 10 to 20 clients per month. It depends on what they're getting, the work that they're getting done. And then, also, I don't know, I grew up with a very, very, my mother and my grandmother, they were very, very ambitious, um, very, very respectful women, and they didn't believe in doing sex work. When I say clients, I mean actual spiritual clients. As a woman, I'm not going to hang around with men who regard women as prostitutes. I'm not going to do that as a woman, because I have pride and self respect in myself, and I want to be taken seriously in this world. I want to be taken seriously in this world. I don't want to go out here and have people, think of me in that way. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I think that men should be respectful of women. I don't believe in that other mess. And I think in order for women to be respected from women, You cannot sit up here and present yourself in a certain way like that. This is what I do for a living. Literally, this is how I pay my bills, my rent. My rent. I'm not buying a house right now, I'm renting. This is how I pay my bills every month. That's it. Okay. So, and I just think it's a shame, and I think there are some people that are just mentally ill. You have a mental illness if you have convinced yourself, um oh, I'm doing this because you're wrong and you did something. And then there was also a smear campaign that was done. And while it may have bought them some time several years ago, but once people realize, okay, this is a lie, that's a lie, now what are they going to stand on? Now it's turned into a complete joke, to the point where it's just like, okay, either the police are going to move in on these people and do something, or either their state public safety and health department is going to move in. Because I personally feel that there are some people that are, just with the things that they do, that I couldn't do that. And they've tried to make it about sexual orientation. It's not about sexual orientation. You have a mental problem that you need to go and get help for if you have been stalking somebody for several years. It's weird for me to go and I see you going through the same cycle over and over again. You're still talking about me. There is no woman that should still be talking about another woman 7 or 8 goddamn years later. What's wrong with you? You can't even work on yourself. And it ain't nobody else's business to tell you that. They don't have to tell you that, because then all of a sudden, they got to deal with your negative energy. Also, another thing, somebody having very negative, volatile energy, that doesn't mean that they have the power to curse a person. Now, if that person, um, and I can name off, I could, but I won't. I can name off people that I've actually witnessed putting curses on people. But I think that you do have to look out for other people's negative energy and negative spirits that may be connected to them. But that doesn't qualify you as a witch. Okay. In fact, I'm going to tell you something. I feel that I am balanced between both. When I've got to be very dark, I can be very dark. And honestly, even if I do a money spell, even if I do a get a job spell, that can be considered black magic. You know why? Because you may get that job strictly based upon, I say gray magic. You may get that job strictly based upon me doing the spell for you, and somebody else may have wanted that job. Somebody else, maybe with more education and more experience, may have wanted that position, but you got it anyway, because you did the work to get it. You did spiritual work, and that's what manifested you to get hired for that job. So that can even be considered gray. It's in some kind of gray area. Okay. This is one of the reasons why I make sure that I put insurance on it. Any kind of money work, any kind of working that I do, I always make sure that I put like a Wiccan effect on it, because I don't want your spell working to harm someone else. Whatever was good for you, that person, this is not intended to hurt anybody. And see, that's why I consider myself to be pagan slash Wiccan. If you wanted to, because that's pretty much the difference between pagan and Wiccan. I think that Wiccans, how they stand out in the spiritual community, is that they don't want to harm anyone. Okay. And I feel the same way. I don't feel that you necessarily have to harm anyone. I feel that there is I mean, depending on what we dealing with, because this, I'm not going to get into the politics side of it, but I'm not going to get into that. But, I mean, that's just like this. If you are a devout Christian, like you are just devout, okay, you don't want to believe in anything else, you think that witchcraft is evil, why would you be watching my channel at all? What did you think, that God gave you some kind of license to try to harass me? Why would you be watching this channel at all? Surely you don't actually believe that God gave you some kind of license to harass somebody that has different spiritual beliefs than you. So I have a Christian, obviously, that is a Christian that watches my channel. I think that she's younger than me. I don't think that she's had nearly as much life experience as me. But for example, she was doing posts yesterday. Can you serve two gods at the same time? Basically saying, can you serve God and the devil at the same time? Now, listen, you guys, there are clearly people that don't understand. I mean, that it's such a blank misunderstanding. It's an obvious misunderstanding. This is the reason why you probably shouldn't be watching this channel. You know why you shouldn't be watching this channel? Because I'm going to tell you the truth. There are times when I have to work with deities that are considered deities of the light, which would be angels and saints. And there are times when I have to work with the dark. In fact, you have to be able to, like, from every experienced and what's the word that I'm looking for? From every experienced and any kind of witch with any kind of notoriety, all of them have said the same thing in their journey as a witch, that they have found themselves having to work with both sides at some point. How are you gonna break a curse? Do you really think that you can break a curse without, like as a witch, I know damn well that I have to go to Lucifer, Satan, to break a curse. Period. How are you going to break a curse off of yourself or somebody else if you can't do that? How are you going to do that? And then what is your belief? What is your belief? I think that people have the right to believe whatever they want to believe. I do. I think that people have the right to believe whatever they want to believe as long as it works for them. For example, there are sometimes when I do money work for some clients and even myself, I have to go to Clonic. Who is Clonic? That's not colonic that you go and you get your bowels cleaned out. Clauneck. There are times when I have to go to Clonic. There are times when I have to go to Boone. And people don't, they genuine. So why even comment on it? If you're a devout Christian, you go to Jesus, Jesus, Jesus for everything. That's who they hide behind, right? That's who you hide behind. You hide behind Jesus Christ all the time. That's just it. That's fine. But at the same time, you see them doing the most evil. They take the Bible as literal. They do. They don't really understand what the Bible is saying to them. Okay. I mean, I haven't read the whole Bible. I don't, you know what I'm saying? But I do have a general understanding. So why is it that you are, why would you come to a witch's channel and be surprised when you hear a witch talk about Satan or Lucifer? Why would you be surprised about that? And why would you be there in the first place? It seemed like to me that you've taken a wrong turn. And can you honestly say that all Satans and all Luciferians are bad people? Like we just like they just do bad things. We just bad people. right? Just bad. Oh, that's just bad people. When I see people of all religions committing evil every single day, even to innocent people that have done nothing to them. And who are you to dictate and to judge anybody's relationship with the devil or Satan? Let's talk about it. If I have a relationship with Satan to where Satan will do favors for me and Satan will release my people from bondage, say any of my clients, it doesn't matter if when I say my people, I have white clients, I have black clients, I have Cuban clients, I have Spanish clients, clients from every walk of life, every race. Who are you to determine and dictate what my relationship with Satan is? Who are you to judge that? And obviously a person would have a healthy disposition when it comes to that, because I'm not constantly posting your photographs or in fact, these stupid channels, when they do, I'm going to expose this person, they expose nobody but themselves. That is the reality and that is the truth. Now, I am of an opinion that Jesus and Lucifer is the same person. Why? Because Jesus in the Bible said, I am the morning star, which is him saying, I am Lucifer. Okay. It was obvious. I think even with him being nailed to the cross, I believe that almost like a fallen angel. A lot of people don't agree with that. Well, what are you going to do? Are you going to force me to believe otherwise? And if you have yourself, let me ask y'all a question. If you are a healthy person that feels good, right? Let's say that you're very unhealthy and you've went to the doctor and they like, we can't find nothing wrong with you. And you come to Jamila and you get some work done and all of a sudden everything is great. Like I'm talking about for years. I've had clients that have been with me for years, right? And all of a sudden, you start sharing with, these radical religious people. You start sharing your, secrets with them. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden they start attacking you. What is really making you feel bad? What is really bringing this bad energy to you that's making you feel sick all of a sudden again? It's them. It's not their God. It's that person's individual judgment and hatred and visceral and jealousy for you. And that's all that it's turned into. And they almost try to do a hostile takeover on my channel. So if a witch says I have a relationship with both sides, what would you think of that? Would you think, oh my God, I'm going to become hysterical, because they're hysterical? And then they create that hysteria for you. And the next thing you know, your life is flipped upside down. So that's why I always say, just don't say nothing. Keep it a secret. Goodness gracious. I mean, it's no secret on this website. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to deny the fact that Jesus heals. In fact, there's sometimes Jesus will come to me on his own. I don't know what's up with that, but he will. But then there are sometimes I'll have Lucifer come to me. I will. So I can honestly say that both of them. That's why I always believe that they're the same person. If people don't agree with that, that's fine. Does it mean that people have to die and we got to kill people and now all of a sudden we got to start a war? No, that's not what that means. But to people that are very controlling and afraid, and let's face it, they're haters. They don't want to see you do good in life anyway. They don't. They don't want to see you do good in life anyway. Okay. I'm gonna tell you something, especially if you feel that some other entity has pretty much raped and robbed you. Okay, that doesn't matter what race you are. If you feel that some other entity or establishment has raped and robbed you, for me, I don't mind sacrificing myself for the greater good of anybody. I don't, but it's not sacrifice in the way that Jesus was hung on the cross. I mean, I'm flattered that you would think of me as a fitting sacrifice, but I'm sorry, it just does not work that way. Okay? So I don't understand it. I don't understand why there's a religious person that is watching my channel trying to be judgmental, upset and angry, okay, about my spiritual beliefs. What difference does it make to you? Honestly, I have to ask these people this question because it shouldn't make a difference to them. Why do they care? Okay. Are they doing spiritual work for people? Probably. If they are trying to do spiritual work for people, something's missing. Because I can promise you, if you're trying to break somebody of a curse and you have no idea what you're doing, breaking somebody of a curse requires a little bit more, well, a lot more than prayer and lighting a candle. If that were the case, if the church could truly do that for you, there would be less people walking around here cursed. Okay. And then also, it's cheap people. It's people that are just genuinely cheap. Okay. They're just cheap. I don't want to pay that amount. I'm not worth that much to me. Why would I pay that amount? I'm not paying it. And so they're thinking I want something free. So that's what I've noticed as well. Okay. But I can tell you that you need to decide if you are worth it for real. Seriously. And that is the reason why so many of us are on this spiritual path. Am I afraid? Not at all. I'm not afraid at all. For what? And there's a lot of you guys that you want to take the path just so that you can use it for your own life. I personally don't mind witches working for other people. But you got some people that they have a problem with thinking, "Oh my god, if this person is successful, that's going to take things away from me." How would that take things away from you? You being stuck on that is what's going to stop you. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm not even afraid of my worst enemy in the world. I'm not. I don't have any fear of people. I don't have fear of people. Okay. I don't even fear spirits no more. I don't fear it no more. Okay. I've been doing this for so long that it just doesn't matter to me anymore. Okay. It doesn't. So, but I just think that people need to go and stay in their lane. Stop trying to jump in other people's lane. Stop trying to be other people. Stop trying to tell other people what they should be doing. Stop trying to navigate someone else's life, especially when you obviously can't navigate your own. And I've been out on my own since I was 18 years old. I went back for a couple of years and been out on my own ever since. And that's not to say that you can't live with your mother and do spiritual work until you move out on your own. I'm not even saying that. But I'm saying why can't some of these people, you know what? I'm going to tell y'all something. We would not be having this discussion if people were better. If people were better within themselves. I wouldn't have had a video up here since that Saint Valentine's Day ritual, or that puppet doll ritual that I did, the binding puppet doll. I come on here and do that, but since people are why are they so super duper focused on me? They're super duper focused on me while at the same time saying I don't have no power. Well, I'm sorry. Wouldn't you being obsessed with me kind of prove that evidently because who stalks somebody that don't have nothing that they want? Let's face it, even though stalkers are psychopaths, they still know that you got what they want. Something that you have that they want that they can't have. And you can't speak on people's stuff unless you have the authority to do it. There are some witches on here that are real witches that I may disagree with things that they're doing because I can see what they're trying to do. They're trying to manipulate. Am I obsessed with it? Am I stalking them every single day? No, I'm not. That's stupid. I have to mind the business that pays me. Okay. Consecrate this wine, clear it of all negative spirits, and I charge this wine. I charge this wine to bring me good spirits and the spirits of my ancestors. Blessed be. All right, guys, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Just be careful on here, okay? Be careful on here. Okay. And I will see you guys later. Okay. If you are having that problem to where you're being stalked by somebody who's claiming that it's witchcraft, then you guys know you can contact me because really the only thing that you can do is be patient while the police get their crap together and figure out whether or not they're going to arrest these people or do whatever they're going to do with these people. Okay. You got to keep yourself straight. You got to keep yourself balanced. You got to keep yourself peaceful and tranquil. Okay. And there is a such thing as a spiritual stalker, but I'm not going to get into that because I don't consider myself to be at spiritual war with these people. I see them as being at spiritual war with themselves. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Have a wonderful Monday evening. Blessed be.